Good afternoon, everyone. So far, we've gone over all of the major nutrients, carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And now we're getting into the smaller units, which will be our vitamins and minerals. We went over vitamin A and vitamin B. Now today we're going to go over vitamin C, which is ascorbic acid, and it is water soluble. So you don't have to worry about toxicities, even though you do have to watch your levels. To have a balanced diet, then you don't need to supplement vitamin C because it can cause some adverse effects like diarrhea and nausea and cramping and stuff like that. So just, be conscious of your vitamin C levels. You shouldn't need a supplement if you do have a regular diet. It is essential, which means that the body cannot produce it alone, so you do have to get it through your diet. So that's important to know because our body can make a lot of compounds up, but that is not one of them. Vitamin C must be received through the diet. And then foods that are high in vitamin C will be like the citrus fruits, bell peppers, strawberries, kiwi, broccoli, and kale. And that's just a few examples. Vitamin C will be in most of your fruits and veggies, so you always want to make sure you're getting at least a couple fruits and vegetables a day. That's just kind of a rule of thumb. If you're not getting any now, try to add a vegetable with your dinner. Maybe have a fruit for breakfast, or you can do, like, instead of a sandwich and chips, you can do a sandwich and a fruit for lunch, just to get your intake in and to get your vitamin and mineral levels up so we can feel like our best selves. Okay, and let's see what else I got for you. One thing with vitamin C that you do have to watch is that it does have some drug nutrient interactions. So if you are on any type of chemotherapy drug or anticoagulants like warfarin, you do have to be aware that there is a drug nutrient interaction. So it's something that you just want to be aware of and talk to your doctor about if you are on any of these medications that react with vitamin C. Hi everybody. We're just talking about vitamin C today. We're giving y'all a little lowdown on it and just talking about why all these things are important. They seem minimal and very insignificant, but they're actually very, very important. Vitamin C is going to have antioxidant effects, which it regenerates vitamin E. And then it also protects your cells from oxidative stress. So it is very important to keep your body healthy. Then it also promotes collagen synthesis, and it is essential for collagen formation. And collagen is a protein that is critical for the skin, cartilage, tendons, ligaments, and blood vessels. So when we think of collagen, we always think of our skin, but it does, it contributes to other parts of the body as well. Like I said, tendons, ligaments, blood vessels. So collagen is very important to keep our bodies up and running and healthy and strong. And then it also provides immune support. It supports production of the white blood cells, which is essential. And then it may reduce duration and the severity of a cold. I don't know if anyone uses like Emergency. Emergency is like a supplement, and it's high in vitamin C, and it can reduce the duration of a cold or prevent the onset from happening. However, science does have mixed reviews on this, so just use your common sense. Some people it might work better for than others. That's normal. So I personally, always, if I start to feel like a scratchiness in my throat or feel cold-like symptoms coming on, I will take an Emergency. That's something that we do in our house. We find that it works. It might work for some and not for others. So what we're really trying to teach you guys is just give you guys the information, and utilize it if you'd like, and if it works, good, and if it doesn't, then we can try another alternative. We always talk about health and being health conscious, but a lot of us don't realize how important the foods that we put in our body are. So it's just something to consider. If you're not feeling 100%, or you're looking for more energy or stuff like that, then nutrition is really the way. Most of us, think about medicine, we're not feeling good, but food is medicine. Like, food is, you are what you eat. So you want to always keep that in mind. If your food doesn't go bad, it means it's heavily processed and it's not ideal for you. And I went to school for dietetics, and my teacher would always say, if your food isn't alive, it won't help you live. And I was like, that makes a whole lot of sense, because your fruits and vegetables are gonna go bad, which means that the food is alive, and that is the most nourishing stuff that you can eat. However, if you go to your pantry, everything is in a box, everything's heavily processed, full of chemicals. So that's what she means. It's not, your food isn't alive if it's in a box or if it doesn't go bad. So like I said, just always keep it in mind. I'm not asking you guys to totally change your diet. It's just about making small changes until we have a more ideal diet for our body. So like I said, vitamin C is in citrus fruits, kale, strawberries, stuff like that. So you always want to make sure you're getting an array of color into your in the produce section. Go for reds, yellows, purples. A variety of color means a variety of nutrients. So that really is ideal. We want to try to nourish our bodies, reduce chemical exposure, which is very hard to do, but you can do it with slow steps backwards. Seeing what is the most toxic thing that we're putting into our body, making that change. What's the next toxic thing that we're putting in our body, making that change. Little things like that can make a world of a difference. So it's always something to keep in mind. And then, okay, so we're going to get back to vitamin C. It also helps with iron absorption. It improves the absorption of non-hemi iron, which will be found in plant-based foods. So it helps the gut reduce the size of the molecule to a more digestible form. So it's good to consume vitamin C with iron, because they do work hand in hand. They work together to help you absorb both of them better. So it's just something to keep in mind. And then it also helps with neurotransmitter synthesis, which will be norepinephrine and serotonin. So it helps regulate the mood and cognitive function. So like I said, if you're not in the best mood, or maybe your brain has some brain fog, it could be related to lack of vitamin C in the diet. If you do eat a fairly healthy, well-rounded diet, vitamin C doesn't need to be supplemented. It is pretty prevalent in the diet, so supplements aren't necessary and can cause some adverse stomach issues. So just something to think about. And then it helps produce keratin and hormone production. It supports synthesis of these components, and they're necessary for fat metabolism. So if you don't have any vitamin C in your body, it is essential. So it means that you must get it from your diet, that your body cannot produce it without intake from the diet. You wouldn't be able to digest any fat, because the fat metabolism would be turned off because you don't have vitamin C. It really, and it's uber complicated. The body is amazingly smart. So you just want to always give your body some grace, listen to it. If your body's giving you like a pain cue, or if something just doesn't feel right, it probably is for a reason. So that's why we're trying to educate you guys, try to fill in the missing blanks, and hopefully get you to your best self. And then it also helps with cardiovascular health. It can, it's known for reducing blood pressure, which is something we can all use a little bit of help in that category for the most part. We have foods that aren't ideal for our hearts, and a lot of us take in too much sodium. So the vitamin C helps compensate for some of those issues. And then it can help cancer prevention because it has the antioxidant effects. Antioxidants are like, you can consider like a cleanser of the cells. It helps clean up anything that needs to be cleaned, and it can help prevent issues like cancer from popping up. It can also, like I said, yeah, prevent cancer or reduce your chances. And then eye health, it can help reduce cataracts, and also other age-related eye diseases. So, like I said, a lot of us don't realize that we're doing harm to ourselves and to our bodies until it's too late, and then we have an actual problem. So we just want to try to prevent that, keep a balanced diet. The nutrients, or my real point with this is nutrients serve different roles in the body, and there's many more from what I'm listing. These are just like the major roles that they play in the body, so they're very important. Very important. So always, like I said, if you're not eating any fruits or vegetables, try to get one in a day, one of each. A fruit for breakfast, a vegetable with your dinner. A vegetable with your dinner will also reduce calorie intake, because you'll reduce your portions, your other portions on your plate that are more calorie dense. And then like I said, with excessive intake, you have to be careful because it can cause like diarrhea, abdominal cramps, and nausea, and increase the risk of kidney stones. So if you do fight with kidney stones, vitamin C levels can affect that in a negative way. So that's something that you would want to maybe consult with your doctor about, and tell them, you know, I am struggling with kidney stones, so what would you recommend with my vitamin C intake? And they might be able to help you from there. And then vitamin C is very sensitive to heat, to light, and to air. So whenever, like, if you're boiling a vegetable or sauteing it at high heat, you can reduce the nutrient content by 20 to 50%. So that's something to keep in mind. You want to reduce cook time on vegetables. The less cook time, usually the more nourishment that will be maintained in the vegetable. So, and that's not always the case. There's always exceptions to the rule. But for the most part, a raw vegetable will give you more nutrition than a heavily cooked vegetable. Thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate you guys. And like I said, my point is not to oversaturate you with information, but for you to listen and maybe find out what's going on with you and try to prevent it later on. So that's my little spew on vitamin C. We'll move on to the next vitamin this week sometime, probably. It does take me a little while to get all this information together and to do a little bit of research on everything, see what's changed since I've been in school. It's been a while since I've been in dietetics and nutrition, but things always change. Science is always evolving. And then with the dieting tips that I'm giving you guys, and just like how to calculate how many calories you eat, like that is essential. If you're trying to get control of your weight and your health, then you have to know how much your body is burning to be able to know where to set the bar for your intake. So that's like a huge first step. If you don't know, go ask AI, be like, can you calculate my TEE, my total energy expenditure? And it'll ask you some questions. It's gonna ask your height, your sex, your age, and a couple other things, because all of that affects how much you should be eating. Like for instance, if you're small, it's like a small vehicle. You're gonna burn less gas. You're gonna need less fuel. So it does make sense. I don't really like that rule because I'm pretty short, so I have a very low intake range compared to most people. My husband could probably eat double what I eat and it wouldn't even faze him on weight gain, but he is almost a foot taller than me. So it's like, it does make sense. And everyone varies, everyone's different. It depends on your activity factor. So if you like to eat a lot, then you might have to incorporate a workout. You might have to incorporate a workout so you can hit your balance point. Input versus output. If you eat as much as you burn, you're gonna stay the same weight. If you eat more than you burn, you're gonna gain weight, and vice versa. So the point is to get you guys the information. All of it won't apply to you, but you might find something that does, and it'll ring a little bell and set you off and then get you in the right direction to do your research for yourself, you know? Like I said, in the medical field, so many people, the dietitians are really underutilized. Like, you can reverse disease with your nutrition. And when you go to the doctor and they're like, oh, you know, your cholesterol's high, or, you know, there's a number of factors, but they'll usually just give you a pill instead of talking to you about the diet. I know doctors know about the diet, but it is a tough subject for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to hear the information. A lot of people don't want to process it or understand it because they're just in denial about it. But you want to have the information so you can stay educated and stay in front of things like that. Because when I tell you that you can reverse some of these things, you can literally reverse these things. Like, you can get a better lab test from just changing your diet. No medicine, no chemicals, no foreign things in your body. Your body will probably thank you too. And always just think about, you know, trying to clean up the chemicals as much as possible. I know it's difficult in this day and age with how fast everything moves, and you know, we don't really know what's in a lot of stuff, unfortunately, but we want to try to stay informed, stay in tune, be educated, and put our best foot forward when it comes to our health, because just like I said with the vehicles, this is your only vehicle. Your body, you only get one, so you want to take care of it, and you want to do the right thing, and you want to get in front of everything. You don't want to address the issue once it's there. You want to prevent the issue from happening. You know, I know it's easier said than done, but you have to be realistic. Nobody can make the change for you, so you just have to take accountability, step up to the plate, and do what's right for yourself. Everyone will make mistakes along the way. No one's going to be perfect in the diet world, but it's just about one decision, and then after that, it's the next decision. You don't want to, you know, make it too all-consuming and overwhelming. It really is about small successes and small changes, and that'll get you to where you want to be. Fad diets never work because they're unattainable long-term, which totally makes sense. It's like, if you're not correcting the behavior, then once you drop the weight from the fad diet and you're sick of eating whatever you're minimized to on that diet, then you're gonna go back to your bad eating ways and just start back to where you get back to where you started, you know, gain all the weight back, to have to lose it again, and then still not have a plan in place. Like, that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to make it a lifestyle change, make it a willing choice, not something that we're being forced to do. I just had a customer come in today, and he was saying that he reduced his sugar intake by not drinking soft drinks. We never recommend soft drinks. Soft drinks are sugar water, empty calories, especially if you like to eat. Why would you be drinking your calories and trying to reduce calories at the same time? There's better alternatives out there, especially now. You can do diet drinks because they don't have any calories in them, but you do have to weigh the pros and the cons of the aspartame, which can be a cancer-causing product. So, and that is in all diet sodas. I'm not sure if it's in the zero sodas. I'm sure it is. I don't know what is the difference between a diet Dr. Pepper and a zero Dr. Pepper. I know they both have 0 calories, but I don't know if maybe they have different sweetener components. One maybe has, I know the diet drinks have aspartame, but I'm not sure about the zeros. I'm gonna have to look into that, and I can get y'all that information. But he totally reversed a disease in his body. Instead of doing the traditional route, you know, I'm not saying it's the medical field's fault or the doctors. I think are just honestly misinformed. It's not that they don't want you to be healthy, but they were taught to put a pill on every issue. They're not taught nutrition. They might have taken 1 nutrition class, maybe 2, you know. I know they are aware of nutrition, but it's a tough subject to tackle with a lot of people. A lot of people are set in their ways. It is hard to break a habit, but you have to prove it to yourself that you can do it, because you'll have to do it eventually in life. So do it now. Show yourself that you have the willpower and control to be able to maintain your body and do what's right. Like I said, you want to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself in front of everything so you can prevent things from happening. If anybody has questions about anything, you'll always know that I'm open-eared, ready to listen, ready to learn with you guys. I'm refreshing along the way on a lot of things I learned in school. Some things have changed, and that's just normal, you know. That's why continued education is always good. You can never learn enough. There's always something new to learn, and that's what I'm here to teach you guys with nutrition. And I'm hoping someone is getting something useful out of all this information, and I will catch you guys on the next one.